Also, it is used when the frequency distribution is regular, symmetrical, or normal. So when to use the mean? When it is desired to give each score equal weight in determining the central tendency, and when it is desired to find the measure of central tendency which has the highest reliability, and when it is desired to compute the standard deviation and the coefficient of correlation. So formula: mean is equal to the summation of x over n, where summation of x is the sum of all x's, while n is the number of data. Example: solve for the mean. Scores of 5 students in Mathematics 1 quiz consist 25 items. The highest score is 25 and the lowest score is 10. Here are the row scores: 25, 20, 18, 15, and 10. Find the mean of the following score. If you will use the formula, the result will be 17.6. So the mean is 17.6. So next is median. Median is refers to the centermost scores when the scores in a distribution are arranged according to magnitude. If we say magnitude, it is arranged from highest to lowest or from lowest to highest. It is also used when the middlemost score is desired and used when the data are in ordinal level of measurement. When to use the median? When a quick and easily computed measure of central tendency is desired, and when there are extreme scores, such as a few very high scores or few low scores, which could affect the mean disproportionately. So this is the formula: n plus 1 over 2. Example: solve the median of ungrouped data 19, 17, 16, 15, and 10. If you use the formula, the answer will be 3, and in the row data, the third place is 16. So 16 is the median. So last is the mode. Mode is refers to the score or scores that occurs most frequently in the score distribution. It is used when the data are in a nominal level of measurement and used when quick answer is needed. There are three types of modes. First is unimodal. It is a score distribution that consists of one mode. Second is the bimodal, a score distribution that consists of two modes. And third is trimodal, a score distribution that consists of three modes. It is also considered as multi-modal, which is a score that consists of more than two modes. When to use the mode? When it is desired to find the score that occurs most often, and when it is desired to find the measure of central tendency that has greatest concentration. Let's do an example. Find the mode of the following row scores: 8, 9, 11, 14, 9, and 6. As we can see, 9 is the frequent number in the row scores and is only one pair, so it is a type of modes that is unimodal. Let's go to the measures of variation. This is a single value that is used to describe the spread of the scores in a distribution. There are three types of absolute measure of variation. First is the range, second is the interquartile range, and third is the quartile distribution. So first is the range. Range is the difference between the highest score and the lowest score. It is used when the score distribution is normal and used when the data is interval or in ratio level of measurement. So this will be the formula. R is equal to HS minus LS, where R is the range value, HS is the highest score, and LS is the lowest score. Interpretation: if the range is large, the scores are more dispersed. If the range is small, the scores are less dispersed or less scattered, or the group is homogeneous. So next is the interquartile range. This is refers to the distance between the third quartile and the first quartile. So the formula is IQR is equal to Q sub 3 minus Q sub 1. This is used when the data are in ordinal level of measurement and used when the frequency distribution is irregular or skewed. Interpretation: the larger the value of IQR, the more dispersed the scores are from the median value, while The smaller the value of the IQR, the more clustered the scores are from the median value. So next is the quartile deviation. This refers to the average deviation of the third quartile and the first quartile from the value of the median. The formula is QD is equal to Q3 minus Q sub 1 over 2. It indicates the distance we need to go above and below the median to include the middle 50% of the scores. It is based on the range of the middle 50% of the scores instead of the range of the entire set. Also used when the data are an ordinal level of measurement. Interpretation. The larger the value of the QD, the more dispersed the scores are from the median value, while the smaller the value of QD, the more clustered the scores are from the median value. Interpretation of IQD and QD. The larger the value of the IQD or QD, the more dispersed the scores are at the middle 50% of the distribution. While the IQD or QD is smaller, the scores are less dispersed at the middle percent of the distribution. The point of dispersion is the median value. So let's go to the standard deviation. This is the most important measures of variation, known as the square root of the variance. This refers to the interest and used to clarify the interpretation of scores on standardized example. Maria's row score in English class is 82, which is equal to 90th percentile. This means that 90% of Maria's classmates got a score lower than 82. So we can show the interpretation at the box. Next is the z-score. The number of standard deviation units score is above or below the mean of a given distribution. A positive z-score is equal to the measures of the number of deviation a score is above the mean. A negative z-score gives the number of standard deviation which is the score is below the mean, and the formula is z is equal to x minus mean over standard deviation. So next is the t-score. It tells the location of a score in normal distribution having a mean of 50 and a standard deviation of 10. The formula is 10 is equal to 10z plus 50, where 50 is the mean and 10 is the standard deviation. Next is the nines, also known as standard 9, are single-digit score ranging from 1 to 9. The distribution of row scores is divided into 9 parts. The formula is sta 9 is equal to 1.96z plus 5, has a mean of 5 and a standard deviation of 1.96. Measure of relationship. These describe the degree of relationship or correlation between the two variables. For example, academic achievement and motivation. The relationship between the results of two administration of tests would determine the reliability of the instrument. The greater the degree of relationship, the more reliable is the test. There are two measures of relationship. First is Pearson R. Is the most common or appropriate measure of correlation between sets of data that are of interval or ratio type, and the most stable measure of correlation. It is used when the relationship between the two variables is a linear one. Next is Spearman rank order correlation or Spearman row. It is the most appropriate measure of correlation when the variable is expressed as ranks instead of scores when data represent an ordinal scale. Spearman row is also interpreted in the same ways as Pearson R. Hope you've learned something from my discussion in the interpretation of data. Thank you and God bless. Prepared by Elton John Casanova, Daisy Patenio, Judisa Lumalad, Christian Ray Baysa, and Ipuldo Cabisay. And submitted to Mr. Derren Gaylo.